Campfires, cowboys, and the Wild Wild West. Those are staples in a history classroom at the University of Tennessee. And 10 News anchor Shay Smith spoke with a professor. And Shay, he is using a fictional video game to teach some very real lessons.
That's right, John. So Dr. Tori Olson has wrangled a new approach on teaching U.S. history. And this is how it works. Professor Tori Olson has taught at the University of Tennessee for 11 years and has a passion for American history. In 2021, Professor Olson started using the video game Red Dead Redemption 2 as a springboard to teach his students about America's past.
It is the dead of night in the borderlands between the American South and West.
Usually I'll begin a class by discussing the game and how it portrays a certain subject, but then we'll thread outward and think about, okay, well, what was the actual history of this period? And then at the end we can touch on, okay, how closely does that in fact mirror what happens on the digital screen?
The idea started during the pandemic. Olson says as he played Red Dead Redemption 2, he realized the video game had parallels to American history.
The game would still touch on some of the biggest questions that American historians debate when we think about the so-called Gilded Age and Progressive Era.
Olson says he plays short clips from the video game in class, which spurs that day's lecture topic. Sometimes he will even take the students inside the game to compare how the game portrays certain decades versus reality, like racial segregation in 1899.
Walked students through this fictional city in the game looking for these visual markers of segregation, whether it's in train terminals, in waiting rooms, in movie theaters. And I did not find them in the game, so then the class is about exploring whether that would be accurate or not.
Now, non-history students can learn U.S. history the same way through Dr. Olson's new book, Red Dead's History.
Biggest thing I want people to take away from my book has to do with the question of violence. But I want people to recognize that what drove violence in that period was very different from what drives violence in the video games.
And if you've played the game or read the book, you might even notice a familiar place. Now, there is also a Red Dead's History audiobook narrated by Arthur Morgan, the main character himself. Now, you can find that on any major streaming service. You can also buy the book at Union Avenue Books and Barnes & Noble in West Knoxville, and of course, online.
Shay Smith with the education tonight. Thank you, Shay.